Okay, before we jump right into the video, I would like to say a little bit of explanation of why the title is Men and Women, because this is actually a book consists of stories. So it's short stories collection by Haruki Murakami. So yeah, there are like 7 stories. So there are 7 men and there are 7 women. That's why it's plurals, not singular. Not men or woman, but men and women. Okay, that's all. Now let's move to the review. I actually bought 3 books. This one, short stories collection, and then the other 2, they are novels, but I haven't read them. I will later. Okay, and what I wanna say is that even though it's my very first purchase of Haruki Murakami's books, but it's not my first time reading Murakami's works, because I have read 1 or 2 short stories back in the day when I was reading it online. It's in one of the very famous online literary magazine, if you know, New Yorker. So yeah, if you know, you know. Then I mean, we can read for free, sometimes we cannot, sometimes like we can read for just several stories, and then if you want to read more than that, then we need to subscribe for a couple of dollars. I don't know how much, I'll forget how many, something like that, we need to pay. But I get the chance to actually read, yeah, I believe 2, yeah, 2 stories, short stories from Haruki Murakami. Okay, so now let's discuss about this. So yeah, as the title can actually suggest you about, or giving you a little bit of ideas what is it really about. It's gonna be about love or heartbroken, whatever you name it, but it's not a typical regular cheesy heartbroken sad stories. It's more like for several reviewers out there, they call it like the representations of modern loneliness. So yeah, I will try whether I can still remember or I already forgot. I actually read it this slowly, like one day one story or something like that. Sometimes one story I can read like 2 or 3 days, because a lot of moods in the stories, and each story brings their own moods. So I kinda like enjoying it slowly, so I did slow reading. Okay, for the first is Drive My Car. If I remember it correctly, it's about a husband who's just recently having some sort of grief, because he is losing his wife, because his wife already dead, something like that, from a disease, or just dead, yeah, from the disease, of course. But before that, long before, the wife is actually having some trouble with her health. The wife actually did some affair. So yeah, and even worse than that, the husband already knew that the wife already got someone else, but the husband decided to stay quiet about it. And after the wife already passed away, the husband tried to approaching this guy that the the wife, his wife used to be having some times with other than husband. But it's not about only that, it's about this guy, this husband, this man somehow at some point wanted to have a new driver, because he just wanted, and then the driver happens to be a woman or a girl, a woman, yeah, and then they're having some sort of discussion along the way, something like that. And then next, yesterday, I would say one of my most favorites in the collections. At least in the first half, the mood is really great. It's like you have this random, not random, but more like unique friend, and then I mean like you happen to have this one man. There are two men actually. So and they are friends somehow because they are totally different, but that's how they can actually click to one another, and they're having some sort of conversations. This because they having this same place to work in a cafe, something like that. I will not mention the names because I cannot really remember names, and there are so many stories and there are so many names. So this one guy, he's a college student, and then the other guy actually trying so hard to enter the college but always failing, also because he wasn't even trying. Like he's not studying or whatever, he's just do the exams and then fail again and again. And then why I said it's funny, for the first half it's about them like talking to each other, how a city boy likes to speak like a village boy, and then the village boy likes to speak with a city dialect. If I remember it correctly, Tokyo dialect and then Kansai dialect. So the Tokyo boy, or so like man, the Tokyo man having Kansai dialect, and then the Kansai, or not Kansai, I don't know, I don't remember, because he's currently studying in Tokyo, so he's having Tokyo accent. And then this man, originally living in Tokyo but having Kansai accent, having this one woman that he used to be with the woman since really early in kindergarten or even elementary up into high school, and up to now is trying to enter the college, and the girl already in the college, and I don't know, they're really close but they're not dating, and at the end they're not together. I mean like I wish they would be together at the end, but no, it's just I will talk about the overall the type of Haruki Murakami storytelling, but later I will try to recall my memory about each stories. The third story is in Independent, Oregon. It's actually the last story that I read, and I didn't regret it because it's quite heavy. Yeah, really heavy. The Independent Oregon. It's about one man in his 40s or 50s. He's a doctor. He's not married, but he's seeing a lot of women at the same time, and at the end of the day he really fell in love really deeply, really hard with a woman, a married woman actually. And then that married woman, at the end of the day we found out that let's say this one woman, I will put this aside first, this one woman, and then this our main character, but he's not the narrator. There's not a narrator. Okay, one man, one woman. He's this man that I said 50s, and a doctor, surgeon, plastic surgery surgeon. Yeah, I believe. And then this one married woman, they sing each other. But this one married woman also like sing other men other than this man, and other than his his man and her husband. So there are actually 3 men and then 1 woman. So yeah, she was going out with this our main character, and of course together living with this one, which is her husband, and then the 2 of them get left behind, thrown away by this woman with this one random man that I believe we did not really give enough description other than he's a lot younger. Yeah, and then he take her with him. So the husband, or should I say ex-husband, was really mad, but our main character really sick and then ended up having anorexia. Yeah, I mean that sort of sickness of sort of, what should I say, disorder, eating disorder, that you don't want to eat because you want to be skinny, especially typically for girls. Yeah, so he ended up die. Next, the fourth story, it's called, I don't know how to pronounce it actually, it's Skeheharazade. I don't know. So the fourth story is actually about a married woman who is having an affair with a single man. So this one married woman have this regular meeting, usually come in the man's place and brought groceries, and then, you know, having that kind of thing. Oh yeah, for information, I believe that all the stories in the book actually categorized into adult literature. So we probably already familiar with young adult literature, but this is actually really adult literature, so that's why it's man, not boy. Yeah, it's, you know, adult stories. Okay, back to it. So this sort of up there regular activity happen again and again and again, and during every visit the woman usually telling stories, and then yeah, something like that. But it's really, I don't know how to say, but Haruki Murakami's skill in writing is just make something like they just do nothing, but when the characters talking to each other, they somehow like really interesting, and then you just wanna read I mean until the end. Yeah, so the woman has a lot of stories to tell during every visit, and each stories it's about mainly about the woman's past. So in the past, the woman used to have a crush on her classmate that she never tell, but doing something crazy about sneaking into her classmate's house during the day and doing some stuff, crazy stuff, something like that. I cannot really explain. And then Kino here is about a man that got cheated on by his wife. So yeah, it's another sad man and one married woman that going out with another man. Sadly to say, our main character witnessed what's going on in the house because the wife thought that the husband will be home like tomorrow or some days later, but then actually the husband coming home a little sooner than expected, and then the husband actually witnessed what's going on in the bedroom and what's going on their bed, the wife and the unknown man that the wife sing for quite a while, and then the husband actually just decided to go away, pack his things up and then go away, and then becoming the owner of a cafe. Yeah, he went straight from a salesman into the owner of a cafe, and then in that cafe a lot of things going on there, and then there is this strange character, a man that happens to be probably, at least according to one review that I have read online, because I was really confused after reading that, is actually a representation of a god that watching over him. So yeah, there is something like that, and then there are so many things happen in the cafe, like there is a cat, but at the end the cat is missing, and then there are three snakes sneaking into around the cafe, I mean outside the cafe but not really into the cafe. And there are two let's say bad people that trying to, you know, make some noise or study some fight, but luckily our main character is protected by this another character that we suspect to be some sort of representation of a god. And at the end, this character, godlike character, warned our main character to go away, and then yeah, he would go away randomly and then leaving no trace. But at the end, he's been found and he was really scared, and then finally he's not scared anymore. And that's why I'm confused. I'm really confused with the ending. This Kino is, I mean, if I say yesterday was the funniest, the most fun, Kino is the most mysterious story so far. Something in Love next, the sixth one. Something in Love, it's really also maybe my another favorite. So there are three favorite. My favorite yesterday, and then the second one is Something in Love, and then this the last story I will talk about later. So we'll talk about Something in Love first, which is the sixth story in the book. It's about a man that waking up in an empty room in an empty house, not wearing anything on his body. I mean, having some not so good memory, but he believes his own name, but he doesn't know anything at all other than that. And he seems really, I don't know, that's really weird condition. Like there are completely nothing going on in the room, and he can even barely to stand up and then walk. But at the end, when he actually managed to walk out from the room and then going downstairs in the living room, or I don't know, it's a room full with food, and then he's you know, he's having some fun eating a lot of food, a lot of food. And then somehow a woman came in, and then the woman needs to fix the door, and then he's having conversation with the woman, and then the woman go away, and then this our main character, the man, actually falling in love, something like that. And yeah, it's so, I don't know how to say. You will understand when you read it. Maybe my explanation is not as bad. I mean, it's not as good as this story actually is. The Last Man Without Woman, Man Without Women. It's about one man waking up in the middle of the night, getting a call from someone telling him that someone's wife already died, and that's all. Why? We don't know. And our main character thought that maybe the dead woman that used to be his former girlfriend, that he doesn't even know, he doesn't even remember, he doesn't even sure, he wasn't even sure, yeah. So all of the story, one story, it's about our main character like imagining what's her name, what they were doing back in the days, but all of them not really accurately, you know, proven to be actually true, because it's only like about how he thought that would be. But that's really good. I don't know. So my favorite, yesterday, Something in Love, and Men Without Women. Maybe I will rate. My first favorite is Men Without Women. My second favorite is Something in Love, and my third favorite is Yesterday. And yeah, okay, that's pretty all. And I will talk now more general. Haruki Murakami. Of course, the stories, the book is not written in Japanese, since I do not speak Japanese, even though I sing Japanese sometimes, even though I cannot say I'm really good. But yeah, just because you can sing Japanese doesn't mean you do speak Japanese. So I'm not. So maybe this is a thing. I mean, I know there is some sort of major or program in universities that actually offer literary translation, and I understand why it's important, why it needs to be specialized and focused. Like when you translate one language into the other, like one text to the other, if it's actually just like simple, formal, typical writing, that is okay. But if it's literary, I mean, it's literature like this, it requires a lot of more effort into it and a lot of more skillful talent and person specialized for that. And I believe, I mean, this is the best, of course. This best. I'm like, this book, these pieces, these translations already been all around the world, and I mean, it's really good that a lot of people can actually get the sense or get the idea of Japanese writing style from Haruki Murakami without even have to actually know how to speak or read in Japanese, because there is this type of thing called translation. And yeah, it's really good. Like in Indonesia, we also have some writers whose works actually already translated, so it's not new thing, but it's really good. Like you have your story, and then your story get translated into the other languages, so other people from around the world can actually read them. It's really good. I believe. I hope I can do it sometimes. Dream also. Dream. Okay, talk about dream. A lot of reviewers out there also call Murakami's works as dreamy state-like, because when you read, you feel like you're in the middle of a reality or not reality. Like it can be as real as real life condition, but also not really on the other way around. Like that's what I've been feeling, and different stories giving you different feelings, different atmosphere, and yeah, it's really good, really good. So yeah, and also I like, this is a book of short stories collections, so I can like pick random stories. Like I will start from the first or the third and then go back to the second or whatever, not in order. I mean, so yeah, I can pick any other story to read first or later or last, and I can enjoy it as slow as possible. And yeah, I think that's all. Haruki Murakami, Men Without Women. Go grab it. Order. Thank you. See you in the next.